What's going on, guys, girls? Rob here, and don't do a lot of um, NHL talk on here, but today we're going to get a little bit of NHL talk going on. The restricted free agency in the NHL, um, it's um, it's interesting how they do it. um, it's pretty much like any kind of free agency, except the only difference is the team that you played for can see the contract you signed with the other team, the offer sheet, and they can match that. And if they match that, then obviously you have to stay with your current team. And no teams do this better than the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. All right. Last year, okay, these two poker teams played against each other. I call them poker teams because you have to call some bluffs once in a while. Once in a while, you have to go out and take a chance, or you just stay back and lay back and let them get them for what they want. Last year, for instance, Montreal Canadiens made a tender offer and sent a sheet to Sebastian Aho from the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes got upset about this situation. I understand that the general manager and some of the, even the ownership was not happy that number one, that Aho would even talk to the Orioles. That he would even talk to the Montreal Canadiens because he was restricted at the time. But he bumped his price up pretty high. And the Canadiens signed him to an offer sheet, and the Hurricanes matched it. So the Hurricanes feel like they got probably stretched last year for a couple $1 million. They got butthurt by it. What's the first thing that's happened this offseason, or not one of the first things, but 2 weeks ago, let's turn the clock back just a little bit. 2 weeks ago, Jack Eichel was talking, his agent was talking to the Montreal Canadiens about possibly getting a trade. So actually, Jack can't talk to him, but his agent could. Talking to the Montreal Canadiens, trying to get the Montreal Canadiens to make a trade with the Sabres. Okay. And this was been about almost 3 weeks ago now, I guess, that his agent went to Montreal and said, look, we want to trade. We want to make a trade. We want you to get Jack Eichel out of Buffalo in a Montreal uniform or in a Montreal hospital so he can get better. So what happens? The things to follow, you couldn't make a story up this good, okay? So it's rumored that in order for them to make this trade for Jack Eichel, that the Sabres have been wanting an arm and a leg and two thighs, or two breasts, two arms, and two legs, whatever. They've been wanting too much for Jack Eichel. But they put a name out there they could be interested. They were interested in if they wanted to make a trade. Jesperi Kokonami. And Kokonami is a restricted free agent. This came through the wires. Maybe it started going public maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay, Kokonami, restricted free agent. All Montreal has to do is sign Kokonami to a longer-term deal, Buffalo may consider trading Jack Eichel. Now, Jack Eichel's been on trade talks for 3 years. Nothing has happened. Jack Eichel he could have the worst luck of anybody in pro sports. He is a player that not only is disgruntled, but is being forced to not have a surgery because the team that he plays for is not allowing him to. So, Carolina catches wind of his situation with Kokonami, and they decide to throw a wrench in it. For whatever reason, they may like Jesperi Kokonami. They may like him, okay? But what do? They tend an offer sheet to Kokonami. You know, this is like the ultimate knife in the side of Buffalo and Montreal, but especially Montreal. Montreal, you tried to sign Sebastian Aho last year. You did to an offer sheet, and you raised his price up. So what are we going to do? We know he is the main piece to a Jack Eichel trade to Montreal. Okay? Now, one wonders. They've signed an offer sheet to Kokonami. Let's say, for instance, Montreal folds on that offer and says, nope, we're not getting a bidding war for Kokonami. We're not going to do it. Even if that means we bid for him, obviously if Buffalo says, look, we're not paying $7 million for Kokonami, I'm sure they're on the phone with him right now saying, look, we're not paying $7 million for Kokonami. We're not going to do it. Don't get in a bidding war with Carolina because we're not going to win in that one because that's the last thing we want. We want to trade Jack Eichel. We don't even want to trade Eichel. But if we got to, we damn well don't want to be paying 3 times the rate for Kokonami to come here. Right? So being he signed that offer sheet, that tender sheet, now obviously they can match it. They don't have to go above it, right? But this is only the first one to be offered. There could be others. Bless you. Does somebody want Jack Eichel bad enough to say, look, if Montreal does not match this offer, we'll give you Kokonami and somebody else for Eichel. Could happen. It could be any of those teams out there could do it. I don't know about that. But Montreal in this situation now is put in a spot. They're in a bind because they were going to sign Kokonami for a set amount, and now it's been raised. Kokonami has been given an offer sheet, 6-point-something million a year. They were going to offer him about 5.2, is the way I understand it. So it's already been bumped up $1 million by Carolina. And Carolina, like I say, if anybody can hold grudges, Carolina can do it. The front office of Carolina was pissed about the Sebastian Aho situation. They were mad about it. So now Kokonami gets the offer sheet from Carolina. All right. Let's say Montreal matches this situation. Let's say they match it. Okay. Carolina has other ways they can go. They can go for somebody else that's a center that's cheaper, maybe. They make in. Now, do I think Montreal matches this offer? It all depends on whether they are actually looking to trade Kokonami or not. If they're looking to trade Kokonami, number one, they have to go to the Sabres and figure, look, do you want to pay what the Carolina Panthers, what the Carolina Hurricanes offered? Do you want to pay it? And if the Sabres don't want to play, it looks like to me they would want to play ball with Montreal. They're in good standing with it. Buffalo and Montreal is in good standing. We know Montreal is not in good standing with Carolina. Those two are buckling heads all the time. So what happens? This is what I think will happen. Okay. I think Montreal will sign Kokonami. Okay. I think they're going to sign it for whatever price that Carolina put on him, 6 point whatever million. And I think Jack Eichel stays in Buffalo for the time being. I don't think Buffalo is going to trade for Kokonami at another million plus. You know, they wanted Kokonami, yes, or if they've got to get rid of Eichel, they want Kokonami. There's no doubt about that. But they did not want that extra million. 5.2 and 6.4 is a big difference. And this is over, a 4 or 5 year deal. Carolina put the gavel down and said, look, we'll offer this. So obviously, one of two things happens. Carolina thinks that Kokonami is worth this amount of money. Or they feel like Montreal is so, how do I say it? So hard up at this point, they've got to sign him. What's up, Dez? So which way is it? Will Montreal sign Kokonami to the offer sheet? I think they will. But I also think in the process that Buffalo is not going to trade Jack Eichel, and that'll be extra $1 million out of their pocket. That's what I think. Let's finish this story up though, okay? So as soon, like I say, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, it's rumored that Kokonami was going to be the trade target for the Sabres. Yeah, he was a trade target for the Sabres. Okay. Soon as Carolina heard that, they went after him. Okay. Last week, Jack Eichel fired his agent and hired a new agent. It is rumored that his agent was trying to get him to get traded anywhere. Jack wants to go to Montreal. Jack Eichel wants to go to Montreal. But it is rumored that his agent was getting so bugged, so pissed with the way Jack was doing. Now, granted, not many players would have put up with the bullshit that they've put up with like Jack Eichel's put up with. He's been stuck at Buffalo for 3 years. Jack Eichel, he is a hockey player at Buffalo. And let me tell you what's happened. He has had neck fusion problems over the past 4 or 5 years. Okay? He says he's limited on what he can do. He says he's not able to make turns on the ice like he used to. So 2 years ago, he goes to the president of the organization and the owner and says, look, I want to have surgery. I want to have a fusion surgery where they can tap into the second, third, and fourth. Somewhere like that, way up just below the neck, fuse it down. I should be able to play next year. The owner looks into that surgery and says, look, it's too risky. It's too risky. Chances are you'll never play hockey again if you have that surgery. Jack wants that surgery. The team won't allow it. Okay? The team won't allow it. If Jack Eichel goes and has that surgery done, they can actually go. Okay, they can actually go and say he went against the team's rights here. So what's happened is for the last 2 years they've been in a pissing match. Jack Eichel wants to have surgery at fusion, surgery on his neck. Still wants it. Says he could be he says he could be a 40 goal scorer. He could score 100 points if he had that surgery done. All players say that though. What's up, Alex? So what's happened is over these last 2 years, there's friction between Jack Eichel and ownership of the Sabres. They're butting heads, right? So what happened was about 3 weeks ago, the Montreal Canadiens step up and say, look, we got this kid, Jesperi Kokonami. We got Kokonami. We will trade him for Jack Eichel. Okay. We will trade Jesperi Kokonami for Jack Eichel. Okay. That came out about 3 weeks ago. 2.5. Last year, let me also tell you this now. Last year, the Carolina Hurricanes had this kid named Sebastian Aho. You don't make that name up, folks. Sebastian Aho. And he was a restricted free agent. Okay. Montreal tried to sign. Well, they signed him to an offer sheet. Aho to an offer sheet. And Carolina had to go back and match that offer sheet. So they had to pay him more than they wanted to. Okay. All right. Now let's get back to this story. Kokonami is in Montreal. Carolina's down here. They don't have nothing to do with anything right now. And Jack Eichel. But first off, they have to sign him to a contract. So what does Carolina do? They step in. Kokonami, why don't you make a trip down here to Carolina? We understand that there could be teams interested in you, and we're interested in you. Okay? So Kokonami makes the trip down to Carolina. Not only does he exceed the $5.2 million that the Canadians want to pay him, it's $6.3 million, another million. And he signs a tender offer. What it is, he signs a sheet saying if Montreal doesn't match this offer, he's going to be a Carolina Hurricane. Okay? He's going to be a Carolina Hurricane. So he flies back up to Montreal. Last week, Jack Eichel, about 2 weeks ago, his agent was going back and forth saying, look, Jack is ready to be traded. He's ready to go to Montreal. He's ready to go to Montreal. Then what happens? It is found out by the Montreal Canadiens. They're talking to Kokonami, and Kokonami shows him a paper. You got to match this now by Carolina. Okay? Now, don't forget, Jack Eichel's agent, he's got about 10 other players other than Eichel. But Jack Eichel has been a sore spot in the league for the last 2 years. So what do you think his agent probably ended up doing? His agent probably went out here to every team and said, look, Jack Eichel's got to get traded. Jack Eichel has got to get traded. Okay? He's got to go. He's got to go. He is getting under every nerve in my body right now. He's paying me, yes. But I've got 10 other players that I don't get to spend the time with and the efforts with because Jack needs all this attention. Somebody trade for him. Okay? Somebody trade for him. I'll make it worth your while. I'll do something for you. I'll sweeten the deal somewhere. Get Jack Eichel out of Buffalo. Somewhere along in the process, somebody in Carolina got wind of this. And last year, like I say, Sebastian Aho signed an offer sheet with Montreal. So what do you think Carolina does? We will pay these assholes back. We're going to sign an offer sheet to Kokonami for $6.2 million. So we got them right here. Montreal is either going to match that contract to sign Kokonami, or they can say, no, we're not going to do it. The Carolina Hurricanes can keep him. Then the Hurricanes have some leverage. Does Buffalo want Kokonami? If you do, we will trade with you. We will take Jack Eichel, but we want a sweetener too because we signed him. Who knows? I'm just saying something's up in that situation. As soon as Jack Eichel found out it went public, he fired his agent. He fired his agent last week. So that we're going to see what happens with that. I think Kokonami signs with Montreal and stays in Montreal. Okay? That's what I think happens. When you get the chance, can you talk about the Javi Baez situation? Javi Baez is an idiot. Okay? Javi Baez is an idiot. There's 4 or 5 cities you play at. Okay? Says about the Chiefs, I don't know who's taking them out. Oh. 4 or 5 cities you play at, you will play at a high level, or they're going to boo your ass. Philadelphia is one of those cities. If you strike out all the time, they're going to boo you. If you don't put any effort out, they're going to boo your ass. Okay? New York's the same way. New York is the same way. Laziness or just simply not applying yourself. Javi Baez was used to being the man in Chicago. But, and Chicago people, don't hate on me for this. Chicago accepts being crappy. That's the truth. That's just the damn truth. Chicago, the city of Chicago, accepts a crappy team. Okay? They're willing to take it. They're willing to take it. New York's not. And as much as you want to put this all on Javi Baez, Francisco Lindor's right there with him. Lindor's he's the one that started it. Lindor earlier in the season had problems with the fans. He came around and started playing better, but Baez he's lit into him too. So before you want to jump all the way on Baez's boat to get on him, Lindor plays a part in this. Lindor plays a part in this. Are the Mets going to come back? No. They're too far back now. They're done. They are done. They're not going to come back. And to me, if I'm the Mets, I find a place for Baez to go. I find him a new house. That's me. If I'm the Mets, this is the first thing I do in the offseason. I find a place for Baez to go. Second thing I do, I sign Trevor Story. That's what I would do. Send him back to the Cubs. Hey, they don't want him back. Not for the money they paid him. They don't want him back. I would find a place for him to go, sign Trevor Story. The Phillies, They may be in line for Trevor Story. I'm understanding they're not very happy with Didi Gregorius right now. Didi Gregorius could be on his way out. Alec Bohm, after just 2 full seasons, after and a partial season, Alec Bohm could be out. I'm hearing talk that the Marlins may go after Alec Bohm for a minor leaguer, and the Phillies are seriously considering it. Alec Bohm, third baseman that's been playing there most of the year, for a minor leaguer. That's how the Marlins get richer. Not by money, but they use their talent and they trade up and trade down. That's the way they do. Tampa Bay Bucks linebacker Devin White said Aaron Rodgers would have never ran into the end zone. All you got to do is watch it. All you got to do is watch it. All you got to do is look at it. To me, nobody was in his way. To me, he could have made it. That's just me. What do you think? I'll say this about the Chiefs, okay? Everybody last year said the same thing about them, okay? Their tight end's a year older. They're going to have to go different routes here very, very soon. They're going to have to start getting players, from other teams or some draft picks. I don't know. We'll see. They're going to have to prove it to me because the Buccaneers had the blueprint of how to beat the Chiefs. You keep their quarterback on the run, and you can beat them. According to a report, many of the Cubs minor league players pay full price to live in an apartment building where the coaching staff lives for free. There's a lot that goes on at a few of the at different ones of the facilities. I understand. Not far from where I live, right? The Salem Red Sox, they're low A team, right? They actually have a chef. They actually have a chef that takes care of them at their living quarters when they're home. They got a chef. Low A ball, folks. Low A ball. You figure what you want to. I mean, most low A guys are hitting to the McDonald's, hitting to the Burger King, hitting to In-N-Out Burger, hitting to going to Kroger, going to get a loaf of bread or whatever. They have a chef. That's the way I understand it. Low A. That tends to let me believe that if you want to be better and be better and be better, you start in the low A and work your way all the way to the majors, and you actually see how they treat you. That's my thinking. Red Sox have been known for going out of their way to players, and we'll see what happens. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner has incredibly high praise for Mac Jones. Jones playing well. Jones is playing well. Jeff Hardy's birthday. To me, Jones should start day one. He won't, I don't think, but he should. In just a little bit, we're going to have our NASCAR special. Our first one for the playoffs. Definitely try to catch it. Me and G-Puck will be on here. We'll be on the StreamYard. No more than an hour, but we may do probably over 30 minutes, just due to the fact we're going to be talking about 12 different drivers. 16 different drivers. Okay. What are your thoughts on Ronaldo? Ronaldo's 37 years old and they're overpaying. They're overpaying. I, he'll probably lead the league in scoring and in goals, but he plays no defense, none. Turn the clock back. Look at Sergio Aguero. He played a little bit for City, but let's see if he can play as well as Aguero did a couple years ago. My feeling is maybe, but maybe Ronaldo. I don't probably think he's probably in game shape yet, so he'll probably be another week or two before he starts. And then I've heard he may come off the bench. No, Patriots did not release Cam Newton. That did not happen. That did not happen. Patriots Cam Newton. No. Oh, they did. Oh, how about that? Alex, I apologize. Patriots released Cam Newton, named Mac Jones as starting quarterback 9 minutes ago. I apologize. I thought for sure you were joking. Now you tell me, folks. Okay, we're gonna have Stephen A. Smith. We're gonna have Max Kellerman. All these guys on ESPN right now. How in the world do you release a MVP candidate like Cam Newton? How do you do that? Let me ask you, folks. Let me ask you. We're not talking about 2018 MVP. We're talking about 2020 last year. 2020 NFL. Do you remember what Cam Newton did? Do you remember Cam Newton last year? Was he an MVP candidate last year? No. Did they have a winning record last year? No. I'll bet you money. I will bet you money before it's all said and done. What's the one word? What's the one word that's going to come out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth, out of his mouth, before it's all said and done? Everything for Stephen A. Smith is this one word. Because he's got the card in his hand every time we talk about it. Anytime he's talking, he's always bringing this one word up. Why did Mac Jones get the job over Cam Newton? Has anybody got any idea what I'm talking about right here? Why did Mac Jones get the job over Cam Newton? From afar, people may be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." If you've been watching the league, exactly, Alex, you wait and see. You wait and see. You wait and see. All I ask is this, and this is all I'm asking. Look at how Cam Newton played last year. And then look at how Mac Jones played last year. Okay? I realize Mac Jones was in college. Mac Jones was in college last year. Okay? Who had the better year last year? There's no doubt. No doubt. Now, have you watched the preseason? I think we're going to try to do some predictions. I think I'll probably do them early next week. Yeah. Who would you start, folks? See, to me, this takes guts to make this move to get rid of Cam Newton. To totally bye-bye. Number one, the war for a starting quarterback is done. It's over. Mac Jones is your guy. Now you got to go find yourself a backup. Do you go out? Do you go get Do you go out and get yourself the kid that played at Philadelphia? What was his name? The MVP of the Super Bowl. Do you go get him? Uh, do you go get Andy Dalton? You know what I'm saying? As a backup quarterback, do you do that? And there's a few. Yeah, Nick Foles. Do you go get Foles? Do you go get Dalton? Um, do you try to get Gardner Minshew from the Eagles? I don't think Eagles are going to get rid of him. The way I understand it, they like Minshew. They like Minshew right now. But do you go out now and try to pick somebody clean of a backup quarterback? Do you try to go back and get Garoppolo again if they're going to start Trey Lance? Do you do it? Are you a fan of Justin Fields? I don't think Justin Fields is the answer. He runs a lot. He's got a better ball than Lamar Jackson does now. Lamar Jackson had a great ball in college. Lamar Jackson's gotten to where he can't throw a ball now. Really hope Mac Jones has a great career. I think Jones can have one if they protect him. If they protect him, and they went out and got themselves some guys to protect him. Fields is probably the best quarterback that the Bears have right now. But do I think he's going to? You know, I would rather have the kid at Detroit. That's me. I'd rather have a kid at Detroit. We'll see what Fields can do. 500 is not a chance. They don't have a chance for 500. Not even in that division. I don't think they can go 500. We'll see what happens. Jones. Can Jones go 500? Can the Patriots go 500 with Mac Jones? You got Miami twice. Miami has been wanting the kid from Houston. They have no faith in Tua. None. The Jets, they got the new kid on the block from BYU. And Buffalo, obviously Buffalo, they're stacked. But can New England go? Can they go 8-9, 9-8 with Mac Jones? They couldn't do it with Newton last year. But does Mac Jones bring any tools to the game that Newton didn't? Pretty interesting, I think. Who has the most annoying voice in sports? Tony Romo. I cannot stand listening to Tony Romo. We're going to try to go live in a little bit. Stay tuned for us. And it's going to be, like I say, NASCAR. We're going to strictly stay with NASCAR. Any questions outside of NASCAR will not be answered during that time. Okay? NASCAR. So come with your best questions if you want to. We're going to be talking about the playoffs and these next 10 races and who we think will win the championship. My name's Rob. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. We will be back around lunchtime, a little after lunch. I hope you're with us here, okay? 30 minutes to an hour for the first show, and then every week after this, about 30 minutes on Thursdays. Today's Tuesdays, obviously. Thursdays is going to be our show day for NASCAR. We'll talk to you in just a little bit. Bye-bye, guys.